All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope y'all are having a good day so far. So I had a members request to check out this video from my buddy Johnny Arnett. And yeah, this one sounds right up my alley. It's titled The Most Impressive Thing About Michael Jordan. Now, that's a loaded statement now, isn't it? I think we could just sit around and debate about that all day. But instead, I am excited because this probably means that I'm about to somehow learn even something more about Michael Jordan. Because I'm sure Johnny wouldn't have a title like this unless he had something up his sleeve. So let's find out exactly what that is, you guys. As I always do, I'm linking the original video from Johnny Arnett's channel down below in the description. So check it out. If you are not subscribed over there yet, then I'm surprised. At this point, man, I think I've reacted to like 40 of his videos or maybe even more. I keep a backlog, like a list of stuff I've reacted to make sure I never react to the same thing twice. But I've never gone through and like counted how many per person. Johnny's got to be right up there. That's all I got to say. Anyways, guys, so yeah, link is down below in the description. You also see a list of channel members. Shout out to you guys. I really appreciate you. Times are tough on YouTube, but y'all are making it worth it. So I really thank you guys, and I'm always enjoying our daily conversations. It is a cool thing because it's not like one conversation. I noticed a lot of you guys have like figured it out. So like I remember you all. Obviously, we're talking every day. So like we'll like bleed in like yesterday's conversation into today, and that'll go the next day, and it's really cool, man. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about all that. All I wanted to say is thank you. I appreciate you guys. Like the vid if you could. Hit that hype button if you got any, and let's learn some stuff about MJ together. All right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here to watch this terrible intro, man. Look at this terrible. That's the terrible part. Oh, there we go. This is the part I like. I'm just kidding. I'm just jealous of his intro.
One of the most frustrating things with discussions involving modern basketball fans is their overly simplistic obsession with, quote, efficiency. It seems like everything nowadays boils down to percentages.
I was actually talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and we were noticing that that's not just basketball. This is everything in the world right now is based on efficiency. We were talking about AI and the rise of technology and how it's going to shift, the future, just kind of spitballing off each other and trying to get an understanding of what the future is going to look like. And we were also talking about education, paid education, like college education. And we're having this conversation because if everything is revolving around efficiency moving forward, then like obtaining and like retaining information is no longer going to be as valuable as it used to. As sad as that is, as weird as that is, because it's going to be more about like how quickly can I obtain that information, aka how quickly can I use the technology. You know what I mean? And in basketball, I mean in sports in general, I'm seeing the same thing. We're seeing it everywhere across the board. But basketball, it sucks because it's a sport, and I don't feel like sport was ever supposed to be truly efficient. It's an expression. It's more like an art than a factory is the way I feel like sports should be done. But the same way we don't want two musicians sounding exactly the same, we shouldn't want two basketball players to play the exact same way. And now we have an entire league where everybody is playing almost identical, and that's why we're getting bored. And I'm sorry, we're 30 seconds in and I already went on a rant.
According to modern fans, Kobe Bryant was an inefficient player. Guys like Allen Iverson and Isaiah Thomas are overrated because some of their best seasons were when they were shooting just above 40%.
Yeah, I remember AI was averaging about 41 for his career, if I'm not mistaken. I was really hard on him back in the day for that.
And a guy like Larry Bird shouldn't be considered as one of the greatest three-point shooters ever, since many modern players shoot a higher three-point percentage.
That one, I don't even like the conversation because Bird came in 79, and that's when the three-point line was introduced. So it was like, I mean, how efficient did we expect him to be there? What he was the first great three-point shooter, in my mind. How would he do in today's game? Well, he'd obviously be shooting it a lot more, so his percentage would be better, because he'd be focusing on that shot more often. But for him to spearhead it, Yeah, I'm never going to give him a hard time for his percentage back then because it was better than everybody else.
Every single day, percentages are blurted out constantly on social media, while they have no idea on how to properly contextualize these percentages. There's usually no consideration of the era, the rules of the time, the volume of attempts, and how defenses were played. All that matters in the simpleton's mind is how this number is higher than this number.
Yeah.
Now
which is ironic because if we're going to talk about this, why don't we just talk about Shaq's shooting percentage? He's going to dominate everybody. Forget about MJ and LeBron. Like, you want to just talk about a percentage with zero context? Yeah, okay, then Shaq's the best option. But yeah, if we're talking about like context, then LeBron James driving, getting basically, you've seen the shot charts from like, if you've seen an AOH video, you know what I'm talking about. Like, if this is the hoop right here, then all of his shots are coming in right by the hoop. All of his misses. Let me see if I can change it. Yeah, I can. All of his misses are coming out from the outside. This is what a LeBron shot chart looks like, and he might hit like one out here. And then he'd get a couple more red in here from misses as well. But the point is 90% of his shots are coming in here. While Jordan and other guys, they had a range of positions where they were shooting. Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird included. And the argument is like, well, don't you want to be taking shots closer to the basket? Absolutely, I do. The deal is, if he was playing in the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s, he wasn't going to get those shots off, guys. So that's where we talk about the different eras and how the game would be different. Could he adjust? Because that's always the question. We talk about, like, could Bird adjust now? Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Could Jordan adjust to the current game? Absolutely. I think so. Wide open lane, he'd be attacking it 10 times harder than a LeBron. The question is could a guy like LeBron adjust to the old way in the 90s and the 2000s and still get those shots off? And if he couldn't drive to the basket all the time, which we know that's not a possibility. So if you take that option away, how good of a jump shooter is he? And then we can compare percentages at that point.
With this in mind, this leads us to the topic of today's video, which is the most impressive aspect of Michael Jordan. Yes, most people recognize MJ as the greatest player of all time.
I'm one of them.
But usually, it's for a variety of predictable reasons. He was freakishly athletic. He was fundamentally sound. He won 10 scoring titles. He was arguably just as good defensively as he was offensively. He set all kinds of statistical records, won all kinds of awards, and of course, he was 6 out of 6 in the NBA Finals. Again, those are usually the main reasons why people see MJ as the GOAT.
Yeah.
But I would argue that none of those things are actually the most impressive aspect of Michael Jordan's legacy.
All right, you built it up, man. You built it up, and with my early rants, it went on even longer. You better deliver something cool here, Johnny.
What if I told you that Michael Jordan was the most efficient scorer in the history of the league? Would that sound crazy to you?
With that, I mean, I have a pause button so I can think about it for a second. The most efficient scorer in NBA history. So you're going to probably take the shot charts from everywhere, from the paint, the mid-range, the free throw, and the three ball, combine them. No, this doesn't surprise me. No, I could totally see this. I would assume it would be like either him or Larry Bird at the very top of this chart, honestly. So, all right. That's how I see this playing out. Let's see how this plays out.
Well, if it does, I think it's once again because you haven't properly contextualized the percentages. Young fans like to say that LeBron James is more efficient, and I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Oh man, we're on the same page here.
Many other young fans commonly refer to Kevin Durant as the greatest scorer in NBA history, essentially because of how efficient he is in combination with his volume of points.
I'll give KD some credit, even though he's kind of a laughingstock right now. He is pretty damn efficient. Pretty much everywhere, because he doesn't rely on just driving to I wish he drove to the basket more often, but that being said, he's shooting jumpers all day and he's still like crazy efficient. I got a lot of bad stuff I can say about KD, but that's always the one positive I'll say. The guy's a bucket. He's a good bucket. Get him the ball, tell him to shoot, and chances are that shot's going in. He's good for that job. It's everything else that bothers me.
Again, I don't see it that way, because it simply doesn't compare to MJ's resume as an efficient scorer. People seriously fail to grasp.
It's crazy defense, man. Crazy opposition. He's still getting these shots off, and he's still shooting them 50%.
Just how insanely unique MJ was as a perimeter bucket getter. For example, young fans will point out that LeBron has the higher field goal percentage than Michael, by a relatively slim margin. But what they don't tell you is that this is in no way a fair comparison, because Michael Jordan was a 2-guard, while LeBron has played the vast majority of his career as a small forward, and even a couple seasons as a power forward,
yeah.
Which naturally means more of his shot attempts came closer to the basket.
Absolutely.
Generally speaking, people never consider positions when talking about shooting efficiency.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up early on, was we can't be comparing a center and a shooting guard. That's just dumb. That just like shows you don't understand positioning and you don't understand basketball whatsoever if we're going to do these things. So to compare a shooting guard and a power forward or a small forward, also a little weird, especially the way, when we compare like Tim Duncan and Michael Jordan stats, that's kind of weird. Like shooting percentage wise, they played a completely different game. So I always believed in comparing like the shooting guards with the shooting guards, and now we can compare that with the point guards because they blurred the lines of what a shooting guard and a point guard is nowadays. But I think the guards should stay compared to the guards. Forwards should be compared with the forwards. Centers should be compared with the centers.
Look at the average field goal percentage.
And I'm sorry, last little tidbit. That's why I was so hard on Allen Iverson back then, by the way. Was because I got spoiled with Michael Jordan doing the exact same thing, but he was getting 10 percentage points higher in his average. He was averaging 50 to 51, and Allen Iverson was averaging 41. So I was always kind of hard on that because I've seen better and I expected better.
Of each position during this NBA season. The average center is hitting his shots nearly 10% more often than the average guard. The forwards also have anywhere between a 2 to 3% advantage over the guards as well. By the way, Kobe Bryant's career field goal percentage was higher than this, while attempting a league leader's worth of field goal attempts per game. And
I think this is also because this is the current season. I'm not sure, but this should be higher in the past. Now we see a lot of 3 balls being shot by big men, and I think that's probably lowering the percentage.
While attempting a league leader's worth of field goal attempts per game. And yet, people have the audacity to call him inefficient. It really goes to show you how people lack a solid understanding of shooting percentages.
I mean, didn't Kobe finish averaging around like 45, something like that?
Now, these averages have basically been the norm throughout NBA history. Now, to put these numbers in a practical comparison, let's use 2 greats from the same era as an example.
Okay.
Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Interesting.
Hakeem shot 51.2% from the field for his career, which is higher than MJ's 49.7%. So some people will automatically come to the conclusion that Hakeem was the more efficient player.
Yeah, not even close. Honestly, this is just incredibly impressive. When you put it this way, like the range of shots and the way Michael Jordan had to create his shots and all that to still be right there next to Hakeem is incredible.
Player, but I would never say such a thing, since MJ shot 6 more shot attempts per game and was well over the league average efficiency of his position, while Hakeem was a little bit below it. Generally speaking, it is analytically proven that as players take more shots, their percentages trend downwards. And the reasons for that should be obvious to anyone who gives it a few seconds of thought.
Yeah.
If you're taking more shots, then you're being less selective with your shots, meaning more attempts while contested, more attempts while double teamed, and more attempts with the clock running down. And yet,
I was just about to say, we can go back even further than Jordan's prime. What shocked me the most about doing this channel when I started this channel was going back and looking at the numbers of 80s Jordan. When Jordan was all alone on an island and he had no help, basically, no offensive threats other than himself. and he was shooting somehow the highest percentages he ever shot. He's shooting high 50s. And he's also shooting like 30 times a game, like crazy numbers, and averaging, 35 points a game, 37 points a game. But his efficiency was through the roof. I can't understand it because he was getting double teamed, triple teamed, no one to pass to, bad shots, hard shots, and he was still that efficient. Never seen anything like it.
Despite the fact that MJ has the second highest career average of attempts per game in NBA history, he still shot roughly 50% from the field as a guard.
Yeah.
That's not just excellent, that's not just astounding, but it's downright stunning. Here's another way to look at it. In the history of the NBA, only 25 times has a shooting guard averaged at least 30 points per game over the course of a season. 8 of those times were Michael Jordan, which makes him roughly 1/3 of NBA history at his position.
What's crazy is with today's scoring being at like 120 a game, how are more people not averaging 30? It's blowing my mind.
In those seasons, MJ shot a remarkable 51.6% while averaging 32.9 points per game.
Crazy.
In the
Wait, what period? Oh, okay, in the seasons where he averaged 30 or more, okay.
6% while averaging 32.9 points per game. In the 17 other seasons from some of the greatest two guards in NBA history, they combined for 46.4% on 31.6 points per game. Simply put, when it comes to perimeter scoring and efficiency, MJ is in a class completely on his own.
Absolutely.
Now obviously, this same logic and percentages should apply to the efficiency comparison between MJ and LeBron, especially considering how MJ shot 3.5 more shot attempts per game. When you look at the positions they played and the standards set for those positions, there's no question who was the more efficient scorer when you properly contextualize it.
Agreed.
This is not all to say that LeBron and KD are not incredibly efficient players worthy of praise for excelling in that aspect, because they certainly are. But in terms of volume and efficiency, MJ separated himself from the rest of the competition at his position, likely more so than any other player who's ever played this game. So what do you guys think? Is Michael Jordan the most efficient scorer in NBA history? Or is there someone more worthy of that title? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Shout out to the members for supporting the channel, and thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Great video, man. Welcome back. Glad you're back. Is he? That's a hard question to answer. I'd rather answer the simple question, which is he the most efficient shooting guard of all time? Or guard of all time? Yeah, absolutely. Hands down. I believe there's zero comparison. He's just that guy. Most efficient ever? I mean, it's hard. I would have to like look up some stats from like Wilt Chamberlain and like shooting percentages and Shaquille O'Neal for their entire careers and kind of balance it against that, because it's going to be hard to compare against a center. Now, the thing is if it's like 51% to 49%, like the example shown in this video about Hakeem and MJ, at that point, yeah, you can go way easily. Jordan's more efficient than that. But if we're talking about like, if anybody got like 67% or like 70% for their career and they were a big man, then it's going to be an interesting conversation. And that's one that I don't know if we can actually like properly debate, because it's two completely different categories. You know, if you were dunking 9 out of 10 times versus a guy who's shooting from all over the court, yet your percentage is 20% higher than the guy shooting all over the court, we have a very interesting discussion to have. And I don't even know how to approach that conversation, to tell you the truth. But so because of that, I'd prefer to talk about it by position. And if we're comparing him to guards, yeah, he's more efficient than any guard or any forward that's ever played this game. The only question is the centers. But to me, comparing a guard and a center is just, at that point, what are we doing here? You know, like, what are we actually trying to accomplish here? So I'll leave it at that. In my opinion, though, hands down, the most efficient player of all time is Michael Jordan. It's just, I can't like say like it's because of this fact. You know what I mean? It's just as simple as this for me. I need a bucket, I'm giving it to MJ. And I always say this, there's two people on my list, and it's MJ and it's Bird. And it's because of how efficient they were from everywhere. Attack the basket, very efficient. Mid-range, very efficient. Post move, very efficient. Deep ball, they got you covered, man. So that's the way I'd rather approach the conversation, but this is a great video by Johnny Arnett. And yeah, man. MJ, he's that guy. I gotta go, you guys. I'll see you later. Like the vid on the way out if you could. Leave a comment down below and subscribe if you want more content like this. Who's the most efficient player to you guys? You let me know. And what would your criteria be for comparing guards and centers? I'm very curious about it. Or do you just go flat and say whoever has the highest percentage wins? Fuck the context. I'm curious what you guys think. Anyways, I made it a whole video without cursing and I just blew it at the very end. Screw it. Guys, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. And most importantly, it's to be water, my friends.